America's weakest team by quite a margin.
Yeah.
Over 12 games so far. Liquid absolutely have to put points on the board for their fans and for their chances to go to Milan.
Yeah, paiN have had a really rough second half and a really rough first half. Just been rough all over for paiN. So Nomad already gone, as well as Glaz. Nothing surprising so far. We are going to have all our destructors here on border. It's going to be Influence. Mira, no Echo yet. Possibility is high of Echo ban here, or a Maestro. Okay, so we don't often see Echo left unbanned here in Latin America, as you guys might have noticed in the actual percentages earlier on. It's going to be a little bit of, I guess, a change here, but nothing too crazy. paiN will be starting on defense first, so they'll probably go to Armory. Border is, as much as Border is one of the better maps by most people's standards, it is one of those maps that only has really 2 bomb sites that are considered viable, like decently easy to defend. Then you have to go to Tellers or Customs, so an off-site is what we would call those. And there are strategies to defend both of those off-sites, and they can be actually exceptionally well defended if you're coordinating your team correctly, but they are, I'd say, more exposed to attacking strategies than Armory or Vents. Now,
if you want to compare this matchup to Week 5, keep in mind Nomad wasn't an operator at the time that could be played in Pro League, so having her get banned out by paiN Gaming wasn't a possibility 7 play days ago. Instead, paiN banned out Ying and Maestro, so the same defender. When you look at Liquid, they banned out the exact same 2 operators, Glaz and Mira. And I think that speaks to not just Liquid's ability to play around those 2 operators, but also importantly, the way that Liquid likes to play Border. They clearly don't want to have anything hindered by a Mira slowing them down. And when you look at when this team had Gohan on it, and with PSK prior, and now PSK back on the team, Liquid is known for those very aggressive, quick takes where they will cleave through a site with Candelas from a Ying, they'll push on in, and they'll completely discombobulate you and take control very quickly. What makes Liquid one of the best teams in the world on Coastline, for example, is because of the way they play it. Ying is going to be in the equation here, though Team Liquid's not going to opt to run her at all. It's an operator that you've seen in the hands of Nesk on a multitude of occasions. Instead, he'll be on the old reliable Ashe. It's a fearsome operator in his hands, but it will also change the way that Liquid plays based upon their operator lineup, looking like it will be just a touch slower than they've been known to play before.
Run out here from GCR, but he's droned out and lit up amazingly. Gets away with his life. You might have seen a down mid-vault there, but he doesn't even have that problem. He'll be healed back up nice and easy by FK1. That was a bit of a mistake there from Nesk. Bad timing, I suppose, on throwing out that drone. Liquid seemed to be trying to execute onto Office. Nesk possibly just trying to exert some pressure onto the CCTV defenders so that they are not easily able to rotate. Makes sense here from Liquid, trying to cut off that west balcony. At the same time, Liquid are making, as you said, very slow progress into Offices. Norton covered on his retreat there. Good job to FK covering for that.
This is actually quite a heavy investment from paiN off-site than we see a lot of teams do on Border nowadays.
Yeah.
You've got this entire wall and fountain cut open. You've got a part of the wall inside of security also opened up that FK is sitting at. Norton got a little bit too aggressive just out towards Vents, and it'll be Palu to finish things off on that kill, and GCR is able to take out Nesk. So both teams will lose somebody. Norton, of course, the coach for paiN, who's now going to be playing in place of Gabrielos. Not exactly sure if that's going to be a permanent substitution or a temporary one. As you noted in the pre-show, a lot of teams will bring a coach in at the end of a season, maybe in hopes of shaking something up, maybe in a position where you can see them contribute a little bit more. A beautiful shot from FK onto Palu there. Very common spot to line up your angle, and that's why you want to bring that ACOG. Also appears that there might be an execute here. Smokes go down, and Zig has full control of B and will go for the plan as a Yokai drone sneaks on in. Might be able to shut him down. Timer's going off.
Oh no.
Timed well, but Spawns will actually miss the C4. He takes out Zig, so it'll be 2 members of Liquid who will just try and hold off. Sexy Cake doesn't have an ACOG, but he's still able to take out FK, trade it off immediately. And PSK, making a resurgence on this team. We'll need to just hold that diffuser down. But if paiN play this properly, there's no way that PSK is going to be able to watch multiple angles. It's going to have to try to cover vents, the site, and then the run out as well from over on Fountain. Disabling the diffuser right now is Spawns, but it doesn't matter. PSK will not get anywhere. He's going to swing on through, and he'll be punished, cut down, and it'll be paiN taking round number 1. Really good patience from paiN and a very aggressive defense.
You know, there was a little bit of worry there when paiN was unable to deny the plant. You could tell that the Yokai drone was waiting because he wanted the C4 to get the kill on the planter instead of making it apparent to the planter that he was, in fact, aware of the planter's location. So no denial at all. And missed C4. You thought for a second there paiN was going to throw the round. But the retake was in. The fact that the Valkyrie was able to take out the planter as he attempted to egress onto the north balcony, huge save there from the Valkyrie. And following that, it was just a complete collapse onto the Liquid hold. PSK also, on that rappel, PSK had no hope of denying across there. I'm not sure why he went for that specific rappel. He did have firebolts. He had options available to him. He could have rappelled on the other side of the balcony and been able to cut off the rotation, but nope. He made it about as difficult as he could have on himself.
I think, you know, the C4 from the Valkyrie camera missed. And I didn't get, or the Valkyrie...
the camera has C4.
The camera does not actually have that utility. The C4 from Spawns on the Valkyrie missed, but I didn't get a good enough setup, a good enough look at paiN's setup to know if the wall was fully intact, but it's very likely that the Nitro cell hit the top of the wall, and when it got detonated, that's actually why Spawns was able to catch Zig as he was vaulting out the window.
I mean, maybe.
Once again, like I said, I didn't get a good enough look at the setup to really be able to say, oh yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Well, it was the smoke was the reason that he couldn't land the C4 through the wall. I think there was like a head level murder hole in that wall, which is pretty common in it. But yeah, it might be possible the C4 allowed for that kill. So that's I mean, either way, it worked out in the end, right? But still some weird pacing there from paiN to not deny the plant initially. Yokai is going to be, I think, a huge site presence for paiN throughout this match, as he will probably be as well as Echo will probably be as well for Liquid when they go into defense. It's important to note that Liquid banning out Mira was actually huge to counter the way that paiN was playing in that last round, because as you noted, it's odd to see an investment in CCTV. It's much easier to hold CCTV when you're defending Armory if you've got a Mira. So not having that Mira available, it did hurt the Office hold just ever so slightly for paiN. And that's obviously why Liquid went for a take onto Office. They were counting on the way that paiN set themselves up that last round. But that's all in the past. We're now a minute into the second round, and Liquid are going for an Armory take on a ventilation defense. They're doing this so they can establish vertical control.
Think about how much more difficulty Liquid would have had with that particular setup if there had been a Mira in play, right? As you noted.
Yeah.
Imagine you put a Mira up on security, etc. So that's something to also keep in mind. paiN's going to rock with the Kaid here up top, and Palu gets taken out by GCR. Once again, Palu, a very early death, will not do well for his team. GCR has done a great job of picking off one of Liquid's 2 main entries. Whether it's going to be Nesk falling as well, as it was Palu and Nesk the first 2 casualties for Liquid last time around. It's been a deceptively fast round in terms of time. We're well over halfway in. Armory wall's been taken by Zig, but hasn't really been a lot of emphasis on the bunker play of FK1, who will survive an explosive beneath him. And there goes another FK1, so low on HP, but still surviving here. And along with GCR next to him, this is a beachhead that Liquid will have to fight through.
Yeah, FK is doing some real wonders on delaying this round. That's that 3 armor benefit, surviving both of those explosives. He's got an impact left to assist GCR if GCR wants to go for a challenge, but he's going to win one fight against Nesk. That's a huge player to get out of the way, and another one against Zig. FK has been the hero of this round, not only in delaying action, but also in terms of frags, using that DMR to great advantage in bunker. Now it's Sexy Cake and PSK in the 2 versus 5. They've only got 30 seconds left, but Sexy is aware that the top floor is a lost cause, and he's going to be going for a site take. Looks to have just taken out the Yokai, though I couldn't quite tell from that angle. Spawns will take out Sexy, so it's just PSK now, and it doesn't look like he can really make anything happen here. He's going to have 10 seconds to get 5 kills, and he won't get a single one. paiN with a perfect round, and now that's 2 in a row for the certain underdogs in this match.
Yeah, I haven't really broken a sweat really doing so either. It's, what, 2 kills so far through 2 rounds for Team Liquid, who have looked a little lost as to how they want to be able to make these executes happen.
I gotta be honest. I'm a little bit confused as to how FK was able to stay alive in bunker for so long. I understand he won the 2 fights, but Team Liquid didn't start taking that fight until 2 minutes had transpired. They had an abundance of utility to try and get him out of that corner. They had so many options to deal with somebody playing bunker, and they used not one of those options. No flashes, no capital bolts, not a thing. It was really confusing. They tried the explosives from below, didn't work out, but they didn't transition, and I'm not sure why.
It's sexy cake with those 2 explosives from the lifeline was really all they were able to muster. Yeah. That was it. That was the whole focus on the 2 bodies that were inside of Armory. After Palu fell, nobody seemed to back up Zig on that Armory wall. And what happens? 40 seconds fall off the clock, and Liquid have nothing to show for it, except for the other members of their team pushing in opposite angles and all getting killed very swiftly.
So it's going to be Tellers. I actually like this pick. So in the past, I think it was Customs was the main staple. And back when G2 were known as Penta, they were the ones to set that trend. They set up a defensive strategy for Customs that relied on holding CCTV, using Mira, and it was really effective. Lots of teams started to adopt that and turn it into their own little thing. And then we saw a very similar strategy on Tellers start to come out, and it's pretty much the same principle. You hold top floor for as long as possible, and then that's it. That's the story. That's how you hold the site. It's the same thing as Customs. It's actually very similar to Vents. 3 of the bomb sites, you could say, you hold top floor, and that's how you hold it downstairs. So that's what we'll be seeing happen here for paiN. They'll be putting an emphasis on offices in order to hold on to both of these 2 bomb sites.
Given how much Liquid struggled to attack the upstairs site, which they should have probably the best footing on, I would imagine that the setup that we're seeing from paiN could easily flummox Liquid the same. If Liquid can't control that Armory side, which once again is reinforced, you've got spawns playing up there, then this is going to be very difficult. Mind you, there is a chance that if Liquid reads into this and thinks that paiN is weak on the actual site, that they can just push on in, and that appears to be the starting point as there goes the wall in terms of Tellers.
Yeah.
Been opened up by the exothermic charge, and Liquid are fully stacked up now on the east side.
All of the points of entry and default plant locations should be opened up from above. There's a lot of soft destruction from above on this site, and that's why you hold it from upstairs. Though this is really important. With the office wall open, it's going to be very difficult for paiN to hold on to the top floor. FK has found himself tucked into a bit of a corner. If he gets droned out on that window, then he's a dead man. If he doesn't get droned out on that window, he could potentially get quite a lot of kills. And FK was not spotted by that drone. GCR saved FK, potentially, just now. But you are correct in your assertion that it might be just a straight site take. You could see Liquid going for just that. Norden, the coach, is doing his best, though, to stop it.
Interestingly enough, I was actually wrong about where that exothermic charge was applied. I thought it would be on the wall downstairs in Tellers, but instead it's up top. Interesting choice, but will allow Liquid to be able to take the main lobby and leave Norden alone on site. He's got backup from a Yokai drone, but no other body presence. Trying to possibly bait out some utility here is, there you go, Nest will start with GCR. It's very important to the way that we saw paiN play, but it's an answer back. Both teams will lose too, but Norden on site will pull things out and shut everybody down, and will force Liquid to have to retrieve that diffuser sitting inside of the Lion's Den. 30 seconds to go. An equalization shut down again by paiN, who've just been able to continuously build upon this lead time and time again. And Palu, who's an early death in rounds 1 and 2, the surviving member of his team. But he might fall victim to the time here. It doesn't really matter. He only had 10 seconds and a near impossible task. With the way that paiN had coverage, it'll be Revolts picking up that very final kill, and paiN 3 rounds in a row.
What a round from Norden and Revolts. The duo hold on the site. Those roamers upstairs not actually doing very much. We didn't actually get to see the action, unfortunately, on the top floor, but it seemed like both teams punched each other out. A lot of the power that was expended clearing top floor by Liquid was lost, and all of the roamers upstairs for paiN were also lost in that engagement. But it mostly, in my mind, that last round comes down to Norden specifically and Revolts on the long angle play using that Yokai drone. He denied the initial plant, but Norden secured that denial by going in for the kill. That's great coordination between those two players. Then Norden gets an extra frag onto the Thatcher, who I really don't know what he was thinking. He just kind of ran into sight and died. That it happened, it's done. And then Norden continues to hold sight presence while Revolts backs him up from the long angles thanks to those open walls.
The smoke that was put down for Zig to plant in didn't really allow Liquid to know where anybody else was. They seem to have been more confused by their own smoke, and in fact, it did far more harm than good. When you use 2 of those smoke arrows from Capitao, then you know, as a defender, that there's a high likelihood that the planter is going to be in one of them. But when you use a singular smoke, and it's on a small part of the site, there's a pretty darn good chance that they're going to be planting in that smoke. Liquid didn't know where the defenders were going to be coming from. Norden, just based on even average game sense, would know that the diffuser is going down in that smoke and played it accordingly.
paiN going to be going to Armory, so they've completed a full cycle. Not exactly a common thing on Border especially, so impressively done, and against Liquid no less. Though that statement has been losing a little bit of its traction recently with Liquid's performance as of late, so I don't know, we'll see. Liquid still has potential to bounce back, and they will start this round off very well. They pick on to Norden, who has been performing above and beyond his expectations. That's a good job to SexyCake to get that early on. It's gonna be a thermite charge into offices, so here we go. Access is granted to Team Liquid. They are also going to spot out Spawns, who is trying to get aggressive in that office, but he will get away scot-free. That is amazing to me, that the Valkyrie will fall back to Fountain without being punished.
The one big thing that I've noticed from Liquid that looks really bad on their team strategy so far is their drone work.
Yeah.
This is the most coordination I've seen out of them droning so far through the 4 rounds, but every single opportunity that paiN has been able to capitalize upon has been because somebody from Liquid has been solo pushing, maybe with 1 drone, and there's been nobody from Liquid there to back it up.
This Ash play from Nesk. So he's playing on the west balcony. He's trying to do as much to apply pressure to CCTV as possible, I'm guessing. He's not really accomplishing very much because paiN isn't sweating it. They're not giving away picks on that west balcony when they run out, and they still have a rotation back to Armory quite easily, honestly, through the balcony. Nesk isn't accomplishing anything there, and the sooner he realizes that and stops playing that position, the better. There's only a minute left, and Liquid still don't have office control because of the play in CCTV. Yeah, okay, they banned Mira so that CCTV play is not as potent, but at the same time, they're just starting to get their claws into archives.
It was Norden who was tasked with guarding the archive site the last time that Liquid attacked here, and what happened? Well, Norden died early, and it didn't really matter because there was still enough coverage from paiN, who, with these smokes going off, understand where Liquid are going to push from. Unless Liquid deviates from the norm where Zig is planting in a very common spot, though not necessarily default here, could possibly be paiN's undoing. But Liquid will get away scot-free. Everybody lives through the plant. It's a 5v4 that favors Liquid with the diffuser down now, and paiN have a lot of problems to be able to retake. Nesk bursts in, doing Nesk things to easy kills. He's going to be able to tussle with GCR, but you can't beat Nesk in a gunfight. What are you thinking? Pushing him without any coverage. And finally, Liquid will be able to put a round on the board. And they do so largely off of the backs of quite a bit of hesitation from paiN.
Yeah, a lot of hesitation and a lack of denial, a distinct lack of denial there for the plant in the corner. That was the same exact strategy that Liquid executed the first time they came to Armory, and it works for them finally this time. That was really interesting. I like what we saw there from Nesk. Made me eat my words from what I was talking about earlier. He wasn't just trying to apply pressure to CCTV. He was going for a lurker play. He wanted to come in from behind and sweep up the remaining defenders in the site, and he did just that. There was a lot of potential for paiN to go for a retake strategy there, but as soon as they stopped watching their flank, Nesk saw his opportunity and seized upon it. So I like that lurk play from Nesk. It's great when it works. It didn't work for them the first time on Armory because well, we didn't actually see why it didn't work, but he did die off screen. So yeah, that's the thing. This time though, excellent execution from Liquid. They're starting, I think, to get into their role and make things, well, work. So good to see them finally successfully pulling off an Armory take. They'll have to attack onto Armory once more here. And hopefully for paiN's sake and all their fans, paiN will be able to adjust to that strategy and have one person remain on that flank watch, and then also have hopefully some sort of denial. It looks like it's going to be Revolts who will be that denial operator to try and C4 the planter. So where the plant is coming out from Liquid is technically indestructible from below, but you can open up next to it and throw a C4 wide and land on that spot to deny it from below.
You know, this is going to be a pivotal round here to see if Liquid can keep up this pace and the momentum, as it'll be another armory defense for paiN.
Yep.
It's a different structure as to how paiN was assembling their troops, and I think Liquid read into it correctly. Additionally, Liquid didn't take any early fights nor find themselves in a position where they could be engaged needlessly. It's not to throw shade at the way that Paulo has played, but it definitely doesn't help that he's been dying early for his team without accomplishing all that much. It's utility down the drain, and it's also one of the two people on Liquid who, for the most part, you are assuming should be collecting the most kills alongside Nesk. Keeping Paulo alive is a good opportunity for this team to find themselves in a position to close out rounds.
Yeah, I mean, for Liquid so far, the fraggers this season have been Nesk and PSK, hands down.
Also Gohan. When he was on the team,
yeah.
The first half of the season.
Gohan was fragging heavily on Liquid when he was on the team.
As he did on FaZe.
As he did on FaZe. But Paulo, Sexy, and Zig have all been not having their best season so far, and in terms of actually contributing any kills to the team. Now, paiN again trying to hold on to CCTV control, and again Liquid seem to want to go for the same exact strategy that they executed last round.
Here are the differences, though. You've got the Pulse, who will likely move on downstairs at some point, and Norden has conceded B. So if you look at the Archives defense for paiN right now, there's no Echo on the board. There's no long-range fights that you're going to be able to take with a suppressed MP5. You're going to keep the Pulse below, likely calling out all this information. And then there's going to be an opportunity for a C4 there that will likely be relayed to Spawns, who will have a C4 of his own in kind. You've also got the Smoke playing by Sandwich, almost dead, though, as Norden tries to punch through the window on Sandwich, almost gets taken out in the process, and is just I guess a whisper away from death here, anchored down and hunkered down by the bomb site.
He is actually completely exposed right now. He should be able to be shot from offices, so if one of the attackers gets the angle, he's easy death. There are still 2 C4s downstairs right now for paiN, and they could easily deny Archives in the last 40 seconds.
And this is where it becomes a bit of a problem for paiN, is that if Norden falls, the only real plant denial that you have are the Valkyrie and the Pulse. That's it. And now, with the Pulse and Valkyrie down there, you can have one call.
Yeah.
But it's going to get really tough, and action is going to start to heat up. There goes Norden. Spawn's almost gone as well. It looks like he's been down to crawl for help, as there's been a body down in Sexy Cake as well, but he can withstand. Revolts going for the revive, but he's off his sensor, and because of this, it's a successful defuse for Liquid. They'll get out with fewer bodies than they started with. This was a great recovery from paiN. Sexy Cake withstands himself and manages to claim what little was left of Spawns, and both teams find themselves in a 3v3. PSK hunkered down inside a fountain, will try to hold any angles from over on the main stairs, and any body who runs from over in security can't land all of his shots. He'll take down the Jaeger, but has to reload. Pistol out, cannot out-duel Revolts, and it'll be on Paulo to just sit on the vents. We've also got some soft destruction from below in Sexy Cake, so this is still eminently winnable for Liquid. A lot of noise being made from paiN as they rush on in, but the diffuser timer is getting to a point where right now, that's it. Liquid will be able to hold on. Doesn't really matter what happens. All of these kills, completely impactless. The timer will strike 0, and Liquid will hold on in a frenzy in those final 40 seconds. This is the Liquid that you thought we would see to start off this match. It's coming 3 rounds late for their fans, but it's finally here, and those were 2 very impressive rounds that didn't really look like the Liquid that we saw through the first 3.
Although that probably should have been a paiN round. If we take a step back there, we saw what happened with the withstand. We were looking down the barrel of 4 versus 2, but because Sexy Cake was able to get himself back up using withstand, it ended up being a much less auspicious 3v3 if we're talking about paiN's odds. So good job to Sexy Cake using that withstand to great effect. I mean, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, Sophia's withstand doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really matter. I don't know how I don't think I can count how many rounds I've seen in Pro League won by an attacking team just because Sophia can withstand. And we would have seen such a monumental man advantage for paiN if that weren't a thing in that last round. They would have been in an excellent place for a retake, but not the case because of Sexy's excellent timing on that withstand. And he got out of the angle and then got another kill, making it even better for his team.
That's the thing. Not only do you have Sexy Cake withstanding and collecting that kill on the Valkyrie, who I don't believe, I would have to go back and review the tape, but I don't believe it used their C4 at that exact moment because he got downed before the defuse went off, which means that you're not using your C4 before then. But also, when the Valkyrie dies, that's one C4 off the board, but also time. Revolts, who's playing downstairs as that Pulse, is not able to assist the other member of paiN who's still alive upstairs because you have to worry about where Sexy Cake is on the floor next to you.
It's also the window, right? It's the window that Sexy Cake opened up by himself to allow for the plant. You said it when it was happening. Is the Pulse off the heartbeat detector and the Valkyrie not able to see 4? Why? Because she's down. So if we're talking about who won that last round, hands down it's Sexy Cake. And even before the withstand, allowing for the plant to go down by denying the C4 denial of the plant from below. And that's all just one player, Sexy Cake. So great job to him individually. Also putting in double time with the withstand and getting the extra kill towards the end. Now, we are going to, looks like Vent here. Not going to be a third try in a row for paiN on Armory. They're just going to say, you know what? It's not working. Let's go somewhere else.
I mean, you win this round flawlessly. You don't lose a single body. Why not go back here? You've tried elsewhere. I think that the Teller's sight largely came down to the misplay of Liquid as to why paiN won it. This round, we'll see how much was a flash in the pan for paiN. Liquid's inability to flush out this half-wall, or bunker as a lot of teams call it, where the kite had set up shop, will not be an issue this time. paiN have changed course, and they've actually pushed their bodies back into archives. Liquid might be starved for information here, as you've seen a couple drones now get taken down, and that might not just impact Liquid's entry, but also the post, too, if you're without information through the latter half of the round, which we've just hit.
Liquid have been much more efficient in this round than they had in previous attempts at Vents, but they're also going to still struggle with FK1. Lots of damage done there by the Kaid, and he will put one shot into Palu before being finished off by that very same player. So that's going to be a lit buck to move things forward. Spawn's still upstairs with GCR, and that's a presence on top floor that is going to be a huge thorn in the side of Liquid. Despite the fact that Liquid are rotating, it's not really, this is not a good attacking round so far from Liquid. The fact that they still have roamers upstairs, how are they going to plant is the question. There's a lot of holes opened up above B, and it should be easy denial here. Wow, how does Norton get away with that? Sitting in Vents, and a fight he certainly should not have won against Zig, and now paiN have the man advantage.
I feel like a lot of people will share that exasperation that you just used to I guess, describe what Norton did to Zig in that regard. And whether it's Gabrielos's impact on the team or not, Norton has done a pretty decent job, and he's been noticeable this time around. Now with Zig down, that means that Palu's going to have to go in and go for the plant, but there you go. Goodbye, PSK. Sexy Cake will be fodder as well, meaning that Palu doesn't have much HP left. He holds the diffuser. He's going to tussle with one. He's got three more members of Liquid to wrestle with in less than 10 seconds. They'll be pushing him one-on-one, but there's not going to be too much time for Palu to be able to get back to site, and it's not going to happen at all. It's going to be a trade to end the day, and paiN will take the very first split, 4-2. It's a wise choice to go downstairs to Workshop. They proved to be successful on their final round of defense. We'll switch sides. Liquid will be on their defensive stead for the remainder of the game.
And why did it work for Liquid? Well, rather, paiN. It's because they made Liquid work for more ground. They had to clear out the top floor and then go for a site take. But Liquid couldn't accomplish that, man. They got one player just inside of Armory, and then they're like, oh, all right, we'll go for a site take now. Last minute, better go. They didn't leave, Liquid did not leave a single player upstairs to try and deny the holes and the vertical pressure that paiN then used to deny entry into ventilation. GCR as Jaeger just walked into bunker and said, no, you can't enter site. Sorry. That's a really puzzling choice by Liquid. It's done now. A very unsuccessful attacking half for Team Liquid, and paiN have to be extremely comfortable with a 4-2 split on that first half. So, they'll go on to attack now. Liquid onto defense. It'll be Armory, go figure. We do see some teams try to upset and go to a different site. First things first, but not the case here for Liquid.
I mean, even right now, if the game ends with Liquid winning every single round that's remaining, this is certainly a better performance for paiN than the 7-1 victory for Liquid in Week 5. And it's a better result than paiN has had in all of their second half matches except for their draw against Ints.
Yeah. Okay, so this match is basically Liquid, a team that you would expect to perform well, but recently just haven't been, against paiN, a team that has been performing slightly worse than Team Liquid recently, and you don't expect to perform well. And so far, paiN have been the ones to do better. paiN has a 9% in the community vote for this, a 9% to win. There's a 6% to draw and an 85% in favor of Liquid. So the expectations going into this would never suggest the current scoreline that you see at the top of the screen. And that's what's really, well, I mean, that's not necessarily puzzling. I don't think we're surprised, but it's still a little bit awkward for Liquid. Something's going on there, no matter what. Whether or not paiN is playing especially well, something's going on here with Liquid. Okay, speaking of especially well, that was an amazingly well-timed nade there.
There was an ADS right next to him.
Yes, but it wasn't exposed through the hole. There wasn't a hole to catch the ADS. He was naded from below. If there was a hole, I think it is possible, and if it's placed on a wall, it is possible for the ADS to catch the grenade. But just the hole was not there. The angle was right for the nade.
I was saying it more as how comical it was, because it was below.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Hello, Michael. I am aware that you cannot catch grenades below you with ADSs.
But is the irony of Jaeger.
I was saying more that there's an ADS right there. Like, that's such tragic timing.
Yeah, it is unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. So, and also it means that once again, Palu finding himself in danger too early on. Now, when you play the role that Palu plays, it's very likely that you're going to be somebody involved in the first or second kill, whether it's you getting it or whether it's you dying. But look at Team Liquid's attack. They got 3 successful fuses down. Great run out there from PSK. Waits to hear the rappel and then just absolutely dives on top of spawns.
I can't believe he didn't check passport before he peeked that.
Also, the only set of smokes from paiN are gone first. One thing that Liquid did well was keep their smokes alive until the latter part of the round. That was often in the hands of PSK. That will not be the same for paiN Gaming. There's a counterpunch now. Nesk takes one body down, but traded off. GCR having a banger of a round. 2 kills. He's been able to shut down 2 offensive threats for Team Liquid. Plant going down, but Zig is not able to get it, calling it out instead. Good team coordination. Sexy Cake should be able to collect the final kill here. So Toxic Canister goes down. PSK just holding tight with a long angle. It's going to be PSK, Sexy Cake, and Zig collecting all the kills for Liquid, and they will hang on. Survive a bit of a scare. Looked like things could have been shut down with Palu's early death, but Liquid have been able to persevere despite that. paiN starting off on the wrong foot on attack, but there's loads of time for recovery. And additionally, this is not a site rotation that is easily defended through all 3 rounds. Whether you're going to Tellers or Customs, you usually have a better chance at taking that as an attacker than one of the other 2 sites that we typically see. It'll be Workshop and Ventilation for Liquid on their second defense.
Some seriously questionable decisions and plays being made there from paiN, Spawns especially. He didn't check passport before he went for rappel, and so he's dead. That's it. That's how he died. Very confusing. Passport door was open, so you would have expected a little bit of caution there, but no. The Ventilation next from Team Liquid. They've been doing great with the denial they have at hand. Despite Maestro and Mira both being banned, the Echo seems to be just enough for them combined with the smoke. I'm curious to see what the strategy is going to be from paiN, because Liquid really struggled with clearing out the top floor here. And that's what cost Liquid so many of these rounds when they were on defensive half, or the attacking half. Will paiN have the same problem is the question. I doubt it somehow. You know, we've got the Jackal pick coming in, and I'm expecting paiN to be just a little bit more focused on taking into the top floor, but it's possible they could go for anything else. Maybe we'll see a B-side rush strat. We haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I haven't seen a rush strat, I would say, from Liquid in actually quite a while.
I mean,
fond memories. Well, Liquid's on defense. I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
in general, like, because I was thinking, we mentioned in the very first round or second round that Liquid does like to do those rush strats to get unpredictable and push on in very.
They're aggressive, yeah.
I haven't really seen that. They've been playing a lot more patience since adding PSK back to this lineup. There was actually quite a bit of patience as well when Gohan was IGLing on the team. It'll be interesting to see how steadfast they'll be against paiN. A lot harder to fit in attacks, though, with a new player than a defender, than on defense. If you're going to put Norden on attack.
It's harder, yeah, because you have to coordinate a little bit more on attack. You have to, synergy plays a bigger part, yeah.
Yes. Speaking of, Norden is completely entering solo.
With the diffuser on Thermite, and he's falling back.
It doesn't appear that he's got a drone. I was going to say don't move too far in because Sexy Cake is primed and ready to take your life away from you.
Big risk there from Norden, but it's past now.
He did look like he was going for a possible office take, but has instead now moved over and shifted towards the armory wall, successfully opened up by paiN, so they will have easier access into the rest of armory. Whether they'll be able to confront Nesk or Sexy Cake, that's the real question. He's farther back. There's a lot of big bodies inside of armory. That's going to be Palu there now as well. Nesk is going to get hit with what appears to be a grenade. A C4 gets tossed out. In vain, won't connect with anything.
I mean, the amount of denial that Liquid has right now, they've got a lot. And it could be pretty easy for them to just wait out this round. They only got a minute left here for the attack. Liquid's sitting pretty. They have lost a lot of site control, but they still have presence. Of course, it is downstairs, and the top 4 roamers are going to be completely cleared out. There's the coordination that we were missing from Liquid in the last half, now very present from the attackers of paiN. There is still 1 roamer upstairs, though, Sexy Cake, and it doesn't seem like he's been droned out. So this could be some pretty easy frags from Sexy, actually. Amazingly. The plant's going down, though, all the while. Sexy Cake ready to pounce, and here's the first kill onto GCR. FK will refrag onto Zig, but Sexy still has a presence on the top floor. There goes PSK. It's now just Sexy, and it's in a post plant. He will have to ace to win this round, thanks to the excellent coordination from paiN. They cleared out what they needed, and they went for a plant, and that's all that she wrote, really. Now, Sexy Cake didn't see his opportunity. He is going to get a second kill, though, through the floor, and very narrowly misses out on third. Looking for it, though. Pistol out for FK1, and what a headshot from FK. That's an excellent round for FK, and a 4K, I believe, as well. So excellent individual performance there, allowing for paiN to get that round. And again, what was the big difference maker between Liquid and paiN? It's that top floor clear. They were so aggressive, so well coordinated, and they didn't drone archives. So Sexy Cake stayed in archives, but what did Sexy not do? Use that opportunity to get anything other than just 1 kill. He could have so easily not only gotten 2 kills, but denied the plant from above, but he just sat in archives.
I think the bigger issue was that Liquid didn't know that the plant was going down and the call was never made. You know, maybe you would have seen a bit of hurry added to the step of Sexy Cake if the call had been, hey, they're getting the diffuser planted, right?
It must have been a lack of information.
We saw PSK, who was sitting on the Yokai drone up by bunker, and he was watching the members of paiN that were taking the second floor. But where was the coverage on that first floor? Where was the plant coverage? There wasn't it. Sexy Cake has been having a good game, but a lot of it has been based upon the fact that members of his team have been dying around him early, and he's been trying to collect kills that really haven't tipped the score of a round. Not the way that we've seen Sexy Cake clutch in the past.
Yeah, I'd say that Sexy Cake has been having one of those matches where your team is losing, but you individually are not really in that same zone where you're feeling like a loss is happening. You don't feel it encroaching as much as an individual, and you are performing well. That's what it seems like for Sexy Cake right now. He is getting a lot in, but it doesn't seem to be as much. Well, it's obviously not as much as is needed.
Oftentimes, the stock of paiN has risen and fell based upon the performance of FK1 and GCR, and today has definitely been rising with their play. Not just the 4K that we saw last round, but GCR has been involved in the opening frag almost every single round that we've seen, and you've had FK1 there for cleanup. They're being possibly set up by the support players is something that you'd have to assess through the way that they've been droning and the calls the team have. That's information that we don't know, we don't have access to. But all we know is that when you look at the scoreboard and the way that this team has been playing around FK1 and GCR, they've been able to not just play well on their own, but also been able to take a couple opportunities that have been presented by Liquid and shut them down. This time around, it'll be the inverse. GCR involved in that first altercation, as I've said many times. It's going to be no different this round, except he's the one that gets felled. It's going to be Nesk who opens things up here, taking a minute for somebody from paiN to try to get in the building. And all that map control that had been assessed and taken over by the Buck will now be gone.
Another kill there for Nesk. As FK goes down, that's the main entries from paiN eliminated, leaving just the support players to try and frag out. Spawns will take down Nesk finally, but Nesk exacted a heavy toll, not only on paiN, but Spawns as well, down to just a bullet's worth of HP. Now, these last three attackers, certainly not out of it, but in a much more difficult position. Impact tricking onto Jail is going to be huge for Sexy Cake. Good job there, but he's got a player actually in sight next to him, whether he knows it or not. Yes, he does know. It's going to be the Yokai drone to spot out, I believe that's Revolts. Norn going for a plant, and oh, the irony when an IQ is struggling with the Yokai. Sexy Cake takes out Norden, so no plant happening in sight. Zig just playing with his food, allowing Paulo to take down Revolts, and Sexy in sight will finally eliminate the final player of paiN, that Spawns. Good defense there from Liquid on the first customs defense of this match.
And that was one of the few rounds where paiN looked like they were entering on their own.
Yeah.
There was no follow-up, there was no trade potential. We saw it upstairs in the very first fight between Nesk and GCR as GCR was solo entering. And he had a bit of bravado with how he saw Nesk playing over by Sandwich, but he didn't have any information, he didn't have a teammate nearby, and he didn't expend any utility either to try and shut Nesk down. He just took an engagement, and I mean, if you're taking a fight 1v1 against Nesk, you either have to be really confident or really foolish.
I mean, FK and GCR have got to be really confident right now, right? They've been performing exceptionally well through this match, and both of them, as you said, lost 1v1s to Nesk. Nesk is still statistically, I think, one of the top performers in Latin America. And actually, yes, he is statistically the top performer still in Latin America, and he has been throughout the season. So, you're right. It's something that you really have to, I think, calculate a little bit better. Have, you know, two people come at once against Nesk. It'll give you better odds. Now, Customs defense successful here for Liquid. They were successful the last time they went to Armory, and now they get to go here again because it has been 3 rounds since then. This could be a tie-up, 5-5. And it's certainly looking that way right now with how we've been seeing the Liquid on this defense. They have been doing so much better on defense than they were on attack. There was just a certain lack of bite on Liquid's attack. I think we could say that with confidence, I think we could say with confidence that Liquid lacked any on the attacking half. So they're not struggling the same way on defense. Ooh, I say that. Oh, he's gonna get it. There you go. They're not, Liquid aren't struggling the same way on their defensive half as they had on their attack. As you said, it requires less actual coordination. It's easier to kind of cobble it together. Now, paiN are the ones with the pressure on. They had a really excellent attack when they went to ventilation. Clearing out that top 4 was a great job by paiN. They didn't drone archives, but yeah, overall it was pretty good. Now it looks like paiN are confused as to what they're actually attacking. They've just opened up Jail, which I find interesting on an Armory defense. I'm guessing they're trying to clear out the roamers downstairs. There isn't a pulse, but still C4 is a threat. Although it's taking paiN quite a long time, and that is worrisome.
This is plotting, is what this is. P-L-O-D-D-I-N-G instead of plotting.
Plotting.
Plotting is what I would use to describe the way that paiN's entry has been. It's been anemic. You've got GCR solo entering again downstairs, as you mentioned, inside a Jail. Above him are Norden and FK1, just looking to try to take control of security. Interesting that the only set of smokes in the hands of paiN will apparently be used for them to just get in the building, which will necessitate a rotate from Liquid. You see it happening right now as both Nesk and Sexy Cake will cuddle up inside of the A bomb site, just waiting patiently. Nobody has put any pressure on paiN over in office. In fact, he might actually be flying completely under the radar. This could be a damning lack of information for paiN, depending on what happens with paiN in the next 20 seconds, whether he rotates or just stays there.
Yeah, you look at this round right now, and it seems certain that Liquid are going to be able to defend this pretty easily. The way that paiN have been playing, they have very little going for them, and they're just starting to open up bunker, but that's not really going to matter. Because how is Liquid trying to deny this? Smokes, Yokais, and C4 from below.
It really looks like the strategy right now is have Norton go into plant and just throw enough bodies to stop them. But you said the smoke was going to be one of the most pivotal operators. He's gone. Sexy Cake is the very first death with 30 seconds left. It's going to be absolute bedlams now. Waiting to see what's going to happen. Liquid down below. C4 goes off. Common plant spot shut down from PSK as GCR takes out Nesk. Zig very low on HP. He's susceptible to one shot, and then he's dead. paiN being recalled back to site. He's got the marks. Where's he going to come from? He can't land the shots. He's all on his lonesome. He'll be able to take out the buck, but there's FK1 to shut him down. And that's 1 point for paiN Gaming as they will take their 6th round on a very hasty entrance. And we mentioned paiN being the focal point there. Was he going to be called back to site appropriately? How was it going to work? Well, it was a little too late. And paiN Gaming, despite the fact that it was a very single-focused attack, push through that armory wall, take control of small office, worked. It worked very well.
So 1 point confirmed for paiN and also 3 points denied to Liquid. That is huge. Liquid find themselves in a really bad spot. We're looking down the barrel of 2 losses in a row here for Liquid, and that's really not good, especially considering, if I'm not mistaken, their last one came at the hands of Ints. Now, potentially at the hands of paiN. These are 2 teams that you shouldn't be losing to if you're Liquid, and there's a lot of hope that Liquid are going to be able to shake this, but it certainly looks chronic right now. And or at least for maybe the remainder of the season, the way things are going. I don't know. It's sad to watch. The denial there from Liquid was nice. I like what we were seeing from the C4s and the Yokais. The Yokai did a good job of delaying for a decent amount of time. The C4 from below from PSK, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But it was GCR to get the refrag onto PSK, which denied the then, you know, big hole in the wall, or big hole in the floor, I can shoot them from below. As soon as GCR got that refrag, there was such a man advantage in the hands of paiN Gaming that it was really impossible for Liquid to start a retake. The big standout for me, though, is Sexy Cake getting picked right into that initial take in through Armory. As soon as Sexy was gone, the site presence was just lacking for Liquid.
Rest in peace, every one of the casters' predictions for Siege GG. Nobody had paiN Gaming winning this at all. In fact, credit where credit is due, the only person who didn't have Liquid winning was Dev Marta, our Australian counterpart, who believed that this would end in a draw, and that's still very likely.
So for Dev Marta's sake, Liquid needs to win 2 rounds.
Right, in order to fight for a draw. This is also now Liquid failing to win against 2 of the bottom 3 teams in 2 weeks. They have yet another bottom 3 team to play against next week in Red Devils. But last week's matchup, this matchup, and the matchup next week were the 3 best opportunities Liquid had to secure their spot to land. And with a failure to win here, irrespective of what their opponents do in their respective matches, this makes the math extremely difficult for Liquid to be able to make it, given the schedules that the other teams on this playoff bubble have.
Yeah, even if Liquid draw this, they get the 2 rounds and Dev Marta is proven correct, I still don't see Liquid recovering. Not only because of what they're losing so far in this match, but also because of what they will have to come up against with their most close competitors, such as FaZe. So, early kill here for paiN, and another one on the Pixel. Norton gives his life away, and that's an excellent 2-piece there for the Jaeger. PSK is refragged upon. Zig gets one through a hole from above, and Nesk onto spawns. It's just revolts. In the 1 versus 4, he's going to take down Zig, so it's a pretty big kill. He's got to find 3 more. It's definitely possible.
He's got so much time, too. He's got a third of the round because of how quick that pace was for paiN to get into the building. I'll have to get that diffuser first. likely knows that there's paiN lurking somewhere nearby, as the call had been made previously by a member of his team. You'd hope, at least, given that the Jaeger was a mainstay inside of security.
If Revolts can get one pick here on the player inside of Office, just by the desk, he might have a good chance, and there it is. That's the pick. He needed that. But as he attempts to push into Offices, he's got too many open angles. It's very dangerous here with only 25 seconds now, and one player still inside of Archives. He's got to face a crossfire inevitably when he goes for that site push.
I think through this door is going to be impossible, and he checks the wrong corner, and paiN is there. And it'll be the end of Revolts' possible comeback. That looked like it was starting to shape up for paiN, but it would end up being anticlimactic. And now you have the very final round between these teams. Crazy to think that at the onset of this matchup that paiN would be able to stick this close to Liquid. Not just stick close to Liquid, but lead. paiN has not, or Liquid has not led in this match once at all. paiN Gaming has been either winning or tied. That will continue now as we have the final round here, the pivotal round. And Liquid will have to go downstairs to Workshop, which they have not successfully won on.
That seems to be a mistake from Liquid. So okay, let's talk about their ventilation defense and their customs defense. Liquid was about to lock in customs. They changed it last second to vent. Liquid won the customs defense because paiN did not know how to attack it. Period. paiN were clueless when they were hitting customs. Absolutely clueless. They just, just big no there. They didn't clear out the site before they tried to vault and go for a plant. They didn't clear out CCTV. I mean, paiN were just a mess attacking customs. Attacking onto ventilation was the most lethal attack we saw from paiN throughout the entire attacking half so far. It was by far and away paiN's best attack. So I feel like Liquid just extended an olive branch to paiN, and it's I understand their confidence in their ventilation defense, but this is a big risk from Liquid. I mean, both of them would have been a risk. To be fair, they didn't really have a choice. Still, though, I feel that might have been the wrong decision. Now, the last time paiN attacked here, the reason they were so successful is their lethality when clearing the top floor. We'll see if paiN can do that again, or if Liquid are going to have better chance at defending upstairs.
I mean, you also gave FK1 and GCR basically 2 frags on a silver platter with the way that paiN and Nesk were playing inside of the Armory site. Well, where the site would be, where the bombs tended to be.
In Armory.
You had them playing in Armory by the sandwich call. And what happened? Well, it actually looked like paiN had lit up Nesk a little bit as the Valkyrie was playing behind Nesk's Rook during that time. I think it's the right call, though, as Liquid have promoted paiN to Doc, but you've put Nesk on the Legion, so he's going to be a bit more of a nuisance. And with Legion on the board, a role that Sexy Cake has played previously, what I think with Liquid is they're just going to try to slow paiN down, if not necessarily through their setup, but also through the tools that are at their disposal, through the operators on their lineup. It's a good opportunity with those goo mines, providing Nesk can stay alive till the end of the round.
paiN are setting up yet again to take control of that top floor. Flash is starting to come out upstairs. Want to see what's going on by that Armory. Oh, it looks like it's going to be a Thermite exothermic charge, but all of this is being caught on a Valkyrie camp. That's very big for Liquid. It's going to mean that Nesk can rotate, and when Nesk has information, he's lethal. Do some damage there, but get away with his life. Not unscathed. Overhealed, though, by the Doc. Brought back into tip-top form. Nesk, very dangerous plays here. He's completely exposed to multiple angles and will eventually be downed. But again, this Doc, so huge from paiN. What a rotation of these operators to get that Nesk back into play. Completely salvaging the individual and potentially the round.
There's 3 bodies up top as paiN still has some stim pistols left. At least one that will now be utilized. That's the final one for the Doc. And they'll leave him dry of his utility, just have the ACOG and the MP5 at his disposal. Good teamwork here from Liquid with that Valkyrie camera up to be able to ping the members of paiN, and that'll be FK1. He'll be removed from action. Oh, paiN collects GCR now, and that's huge for Liquid, taking out the 2-pronged attack of paiN Gaming, leaving them with good players, but players that haven't exactly excelled the same way. That's also 2 kills for paiN, who will need to be able to keep this up to give Liquid the draw. Keep in mind with how tight these playoff standings are, This was a game that Liquid should have been able to walk away with, possibly give themselves a better opportunity to represent their region. But 20 seconds left, and paiN will need to be a little bit quicker. They're inside of the site, smoke's going down, but Zig will wander on in, looking for a target himself. He's just going to sit static. Norton is in, but he'll get cut down from behind, and everybody from paiN Gaming falling all around. Revolt's last one alive yet again, but that refrain will not matter. He does not have the diffuser, and he's got 4 bodies that he has to take down. He won't even be able to get one of them. Liquid will shut the door on a possible comeback from paiN after trailing through that last round and the round before that, and will fight for a draw. 1 point for both teams. A disappointing result for Liquid, but a big one for paiN, who needs every single point possible to try and avoid that auto-relegation spot in which they currently sit.
Yeah, okay, it's a really big loss for Liquid. Yeah, at the same time, a pretty big loss for paiN. The big thing for me is that puts paiN at 6 points now, I think, and that's, well, really bad. I mean, their next best their closest competition is at 10 points. That's to start the day. We're in match number 1 right now, which means paiN inches away from a victory, inches away from getting those 3 points and putting themselves closer to clawing their way out of the 8th spot, and then it's denied in the end by Liquid. That is heartbreaking. I mean, yeah, okay, we just saw, what we just witnessed is Liquid unlikely to go to land now after that loss. I mean, it could still happen. Statistically, it's possible.
Draw, not loss.
Well, okay, it was in a way a loss.
In the standings, it's a loss for them.
Yeah,
because they lost out on the points.
Both these teams are losing out on that match. I think is the takeaway from it, really. Liquid less likely to go to land. paiN so unlikely to be able to claw their way out of that 8th spot now. It's looking bad for both teams.
It's the worst result for both teams, right?
Exactly.
One of them needed to pick up the full 3 points and put themselves in a better position to either escape the clutches of defeat down in relegations or to boost themselves up into the jaws of victory, or to get towards victory from that jaws of defeat in which Liquid currently sits. So they pick up 1 point, but they will still be out of a playoff spot, no matter what happens with Ninjas in Pajamas, and then the 2 teams currently sitting in those spots in FaZe and Immortals. This is something that we can dissect in our next matchup of the day. Immortals versus Ints will be on the docket. The last remaining undefeated team on North America, Latin America, and EU is Immortals. They're going to go up against a team that haven't looked good this season, but have looked better through the second half. Ints are going to try to prove that they're the real deal after a victory over Liquid last week. We'll have matchup number 2 in just a moment.